In hip-hop, rappers often compete through their lyrics and reputation, but they sometimes face more than just lyrical battles. The stories of rappers facing unexpected run-ups are as captivating as their music. These challenges can vary from getting into confrontations on the street to unexpected encounters with rival gangs. Some of these situations end sadly, some are funny, and others are simply fascinating. In this video, we will look at 10 rappers ran up on him. KTS Dre. If you enjoy Chicago drill music, you might know about Terror Town and the NLMB gang. They're often mentioned in songs by artists like G Herbo and Lil Bibby, so they're well known. In one of their songs from 2012, they had lyrics that were pretty much a flex. Yeah, it's no limit, 30 years running, 30 years gunning, and we still the shit. When G Herbo faces the long arm of the law, he swears NLMB stands for Never Leave My Brothers, suggesting it's all about brotherhood, not gangs. But if you're street smart, you'd know it also means No Limit Muskegon Boys. If you're familiar with G Herbo's discography, you might have noticed peculiar titles of some of his earlier projects like Welcome to Phaserland and Ballin' Like I'm Kobe. They aren't just catchy names, they're G Herbo's way of remembering his fallen homies taken out by a rival gang known as Kill to Survive, or KTS. Now this is where it gets real. KTS Dre is a big deal in that rival gang and was rumored to have run up on NLMB boys many times. But on a fateful Saturday, July 10th, 2021, he met the same fate. This incident happened as he left the Cook County prison after being held there since early June. Dre, also known as Cutthroat Dreco or by his real name, Londra Sylvester, was riddled with 64 bullets to various body parts, including his face, head, and chest. He didn't survive this deadly attack, which happened just one day after he was released from jail. His release was made possible by his fiancée, who posted a $5,000 bail for him. After his release, he was required to wear an electronic ankle bracelet to monitor his movement, but fate had other plans.
A man is dead after a shooting right in front of the Cook County Jail.
A man named Londra Sylvester was leaving the jail. He went by the rap name KTS Dre.
Two people got out of a car and fired shots, striking them both. The man suffered gunshot wounds to the face and chest and was pronounced dead at Mount Sinai.
At 8:30 p.m. on that ill-fated evening, Dre thought he was heading to a safe spot near South California Avenue. There was a car waiting for him, but suddenly, two vehicles rolled up and a gang with guns hopped out and started shooting at him. The suspects quickly drove away, leaving Dre with gunshot wounds. He was rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital, but he didn't get a second chance. Before this incident, KTS Dre was in jail because prosecutors charged him with breaking the conditions of his release in a gun case. This gun case dates back to April 2020, when he was arrested for carrying a 9mm Glock pistol while he was on parole for a previous gun conviction from 2015. Starting in December 2020, the rapper was on home arrest with a GPS tracker. He had a sweet deal that let him step out for 4 hours on Thursdays to run errands. However, Cook County Sheriff's officials say he broke these rules by going to different places in Wisconsin and Chicago. Dre's demise came 6 years after his brother met a similar fate. It wasn't just a message, it was a statement carved in bullets. The NLMB gang got him, and they left no room for survivor stories. Even in death, Dre's folks feared his foes might attack his funeral. Young Dolph. Young Dolph didn't start with a silver spoon, but he climbed that ladder of success. When he reached the top of the ladder, Dolph never forgot his roots. He was like that one friend who still remembers your birthday after everyone else has moved on to Facebook reminders. Now, Dolph wasn't just any rapper. He had a heart as big as his rhymes. He gave away turkeys at Thanksgiving, mentored students, and even donated to his old high school. But what made Dolph truly unique was that he steered clear of the street gang drama. He stayed away from that kind of trouble. Now, the puzzling question is, if Dolph was avoiding the gangster life, why did the Trula Mafia gang decide to run up on him? On November 17th, 2021, young Dolph tragically died in Memphis. He was attacked and shot by two people in front of a local bakery he frequently visited whenever he came back to his hometown. The most shocking detail is that the autopsy found that an astonishing 22 bullets went through Dolph's body, hitting him in different spots, including both the front and back of his head. He had multiple brushes with death before, and even used them in his music. 4 years before his death, young Dolph got into a violent fight with 3 men outside Hollywood's Lowe's Hotel.
Shooting at a popular tourist spot in Hollywood. Tonight, a rapper is in critical condition.
The rapper's real name is Adolph Thornton. He comes out of Memphis. He is in critical condition, according to the LAPD, but not life-threatening injuries. He apparently is either still in surgery or about to get out of surgery after being shot numerous times in the upper body right across the street.
A Los Angeles police officer named Mike Lopez confirmed this, saying that the disagreement turned into a physical fight. Young Dolph ended up on the ground during this fight, and one of these men shot him multiple times. Despite being injured, he managed to get up and seek safety in Shoe Palace, a store, near the famous TCL Chinese Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. In a previous interview with TMZ, the artist said he was shot about 100 times during an event in Charlotte, North Carolina. However, the local newspaper Charlotte Observer however, said the authorities never confirmed his involvement in this incident. Talking about what happened during this incident later became a way to promote his album called Bulletproof. So what's the connection between Trilla Mafia and Young Dolph? Well, Young Dolph started his Paper Route Empire record label in 2010. About 7 years down the line, he brought Key Glock, a talented rapper and a relative through marriage, into the mix. But here's the rub. This move might have stirred the pot. See, Key Glock and some other up-and-comers tied to Paper Route Empire had some bad blood brewing with Trilla Mafia. Dolph, like a businessman focused on his bottom line, might not have seen the brewing tempest beyond the studio. Signed the artist to get the music out, right? But you'd expect someone like Dolph to know that in the rap game, you don't just sign talent, you inherit their baggage and beef too. Many believe this is why the Trilla Mafia smoked Dolph. Police have since then arrested 5 suspects connected to this gang who are believed to be involved in Dolph's death. Apart from the ongoing issues between Paper Route Empire and Trilla Mafia, there's also a personal dispute involving Young Dolph and another influential person. It is well known that he had a long-term beef with another rapper from Memphis, Yo Gotti. This situation is like the saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It applies to the situation involving Trilla Mafia, Yo Gotti, and Young Dolph. There are 2 conflicts here, one between Dolph and Yo Gotti, and the other with Trilla Mafia against Dolph and his whole crew at Paper Route Empire. So, it's not surprising that some people from the Trilla Mafia are aligning themselves with Yo Gotti because of this common enemy. Moreover, there are photos that prove connections between these groups. We're not sure if Gotti had a direct hand in this mess, but theories keep swirling. The Game. Before becoming a famous West Coast rapper, The Game was involved in drug dealing. In 2001, while running his operations from a hidden house, he encountered unexpected trouble one night around 2 a.m. Driven by the possibility of late-night deals, he let in a client he knew. However, this time, the client had brought 2 unfamiliar people who intended to harm him. A fight broke out, and The Game was shot 5 times. He was left unable to move for several painful minutes until he managed to call for emergency help using his phone. He fell unconscious and remained that way for about 3 days, but miraculously made a full recovery. Nearly 2 decades later, The Game reflected on this difficult time in his life through a thoughtful post on Instagram. On the 18th anniversary of the day he was shot, he shared a long and emotional message about how the experience had a deep impact on him. He also connected this message to past photos and videos on his Instagram account, creating a reflective multimedia post. The now deleted post said, October 1st, 2001, 18 years since I was in a coma after getting shot 5 times in the dope spot. I look at this video of the younger me and I can't do anything but thank God for the opportunity to have a second chance. I'm telling y'all, I was a real up. I never expected nor cared to live past 25 years old. I literally didn't give a Sometimes I do not know how I made it out of all I've been through, but I did. And I guess that's the only important part of my story at this point in life. I'm here. The accompanying video shows his 5 gunshot wounds. He also has a short chat with a journalist explaining how getting shot changed how he sees life and gave special meaning to his song Dreams. He narrated his experience saying, "It was like waking up from anything. I don't know what dying's like, but I know you just go to sleep and you never wake up. And if it's anything how that little short-lived coma was, then it's not really nothing no one can deal with." While recovering in the hospital from gunshot wounds, Game urged his brother to buy famous rap albums. 5 months post-recovery, he delved into rap's finest records, learned the ropes, and teamed up with his older brother, Big Face, to start their record label. They also signed artists like Glasses Malone, New Jersey Devil, and Vita. The rest, as they say, is history. The Game might have been run up more than 2 decades ago, however. He also had a history of checking a fellow rapper. On July 8th, 2012, there was a fight between him and another rapper named 40 Glock. The Game recorded the brawl, and in the video you can see Glock running away into some bushes after getting beaten up by other West Coast artists. Game said he did this because, in the past, Glock had checked other rappers like Lil Wayne and Plies with big groups of people, and he wanted to defend them. Then, in October of the same year, Glock sued Game for $4.54 million. He claimed Game physically hurt him and damaged his reputation. This $4.54 million included things like $500,000 for pain and suffering, $500,000 for emotional distress, $750,000 for missed money opportunities, and a lot of money for medical bills. Since this incident, Glock has been saying bad things about Game, saying that these lawsuits hurt Game's reputation. They ended up in court, and the court ruled that Glock should only get $3,000 as compensation. Draco, the ruler. Daryl, my son, had a good heart. He took care of those around him because I taught him that, to watch out for everybody. People who really know my son knew he was a real individual. He had a genuine heart. These are the words of Drakeo the Ruler's mom to Rolling Stone after his death. Drakeo was stabbed on December 18, 2021, around 8:30 p.m. during the Once Upon a Time in LA festival.
A Los Angeles-based rapper has died following a stabbing at a music festival in Exposition Park.
The victim was rapper Drakeo the Ruler.
Initially, witnesses said he got into a nasty fight and took a nasty stab to the neck. However, his mother, Daryleen Cornell, explained in the Rolling Stone interview that her son, his brother, and their group were attacked by a large group of masked men, estimated to be around 40 to 60 individuals. It was during this attack that Drakeo was stabbed in the neck. Around 8:40 in the evening, medical staff arrived at the scene. They took Drakeo to a nearby hospital because they thought he was in very bad shape. When the A-listers, Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, YG, and 50 Cent heard what happened, they decided not to proceed with their planned performance. The whole event was canceled shortly after that. Drakeo died around midnight on December 19, 2021, about 4 hours after he was stabbed. The Los Angeles Police Department is investigating his death as a murder as of December 21st, 2021. He was buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills. After Drakeo's death, his mom decided to sue Live Nation. She said the venue didn't take proper care and the staff didn't provide enough security.
The family of rapper Drakeo the Ruler is about to file lawsuits against Live Nation and several promoters behind a concert where the artist was stabbed to death. They claim Live Nation and several promoters did not provide adequate security for the festival, leading to the artist's death.
In January 2023, a judge in the Los Angeles County Superior Court looked at the case and said Live Nation's request to stop the lawsuit wasn't valid, so the lawsuit will keep going. Snoop Dogg shared a heartfelt message on Instagram, offering condolences to Drakeo's family. He revealed how he was gearing up to perform when he got the terrible news. His message was one of unity, wishing for peace in the hip-hop world. Wiz Khalifa chimed in too, asking for unity in the music biz after losing not just Drakeo, but also rapper Young Dolph. While Drakeo the Ruler was in LA County Men's Central Jail, he made an album called Thank You for Using GTL in 2020. He recorded the whole thing using the prison phone system, also called GTL. Critics praised it as the best jail rap album ever. Even though his music didn't shoot up the charts, his fellow artists knew he was the real deal. LA writer Jeff Weiss paid him the ultimate compliment, hailing Drakeo as the greatest West Coast artist of a generation, a legend who invented a new rap language of slippery cadences, nervous rhythms, and psychedelic slang. 600 Breezy. From a young age in Chirac, 600 Breezy faced a lot of violence. He talked about this in an interview with DJ Vlad, where he mentioned getting shot when he was just 14 years old. Breezy wasn't just any teenager. He was rolling with the infamous 600 gang. These folks hung out at 60th and King Drive and were part of the Black Disciples. Started by the likes of DaThang and Lil Boo, they were the big dogs on the block. They were among the most powerful factions at their peak, often clashing with rivals like Jaro City, Taekwon Word, 051 Young Money, and STL EBT. They also formed alliances with groups from O-Block and Front Street. They've been called different names like D-Block and LA Gang Steve Drive. Originally, they were part of the Gangster Disciples known as Brick City, but they switched sides when nearby Black Disciples groups formed alliances. DaThang played a key role in this change. Their lineup included talented artists like L.A. Capone, Bloka, Edai, and Rondo Number 9. Unfortunately, many of their leaders either ended up behind bars or 6 feet under. Plus, they've had their fair share of in-house drama, but they still strike fear into the hearts of those who live around Woodlawn and Washington Park, all thanks to their wild past antics, like doing drive-bys on bicycles. 600 Breezy and his affiliates from the 600 gang often got into intense fights with rival gangs, trying to win and embarrass their enemies in front of their loved ones. However, one day their rivals got armed and fought back aggressively. This made Breezy's group feel they needed to protect themselves, so they started getting guns. This led to a cycle of more aggression and violence. There was a time Breezy was shot in the hand and thigh by enemies, but he didn't realize it at first because adrenaline helped him walk for a while before the pain set in. Thankfully, he wasn't mortally wounded, even though he caught 5 bullets. If the bullets had hit different places, the injuries could have been much worse. After the first incident, he faced a series of recurring attacks every year for several years, totaling 6 unfortunate encounters. Miraculously, all the bullets hit only his hand, leg, and buttocks. None struck struck any vital organs or caused serious harm. What troubled him most was getting shot in the buttocks while casually wandering in enemy territory. He didn't go into graphic detail when he talked about it, but admitted it was very painful. It seemed like he was being targeted for some past involvement that didn't make sense to him at the time. After facing accusations of drug abuse that led to prison time and significant media attention, he quickly attracted danger once he was out on bail. But Breezy realized that he was on a collision course with fate. The same story, a different day, and it didn't make sense anymore. So he made a choice to change his ways, to dodge the bullets and the drama. Today, 600 Breezy is known for his unique music and how often he releases songs. He used to have distinctive dreadlocks that were a big part of his look, but he cut them off. He's also known for his friendship with Drake. They were seen together at the Billboard Music Awards in 2017, which got a lot of attention in the media. Fans love their friendship because they not only work together but also have a great off-screen bond, and this always makes the news. Timbaland. Before Timbaland became a rapper and legendary music producer with many hits, he had an encounter with fate that would, quite literally, hit home. In an episode of Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay Shay, he shared a story about being shot at Red Lobster, where he worked as a dishwasher. Unlike other rappers in this video, Timbaland wasn't exactly checked by ops. In fact, let's say fate ran up on him. He said there was a little tiff brewing between one of his pals and some other hot-headed soul. They thought settling their beef on the basketball court was a bright idea. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Fast forward to the interview with Shannon Sharpe, Timbaland talks about how he grew up passionate about music. He mentions that coming from the South, he didn't feel like he could achieve great things, but he always dreamt big, especially in music.
I was a kid who always just loved music, growing from the South. As I look back at it now, my parents, God bless them, but we really wasn't taught, like we can go higher.
Timbaland mentions that he was working as a dishwasher at Red Lobster. Despite his job, he felt a strong calling towards music.
This music thing is just on my heart. So even when I got shot, it's just something I had to do as a kid.
Right.
Because that was my calling, because I was a dishwasher working at Red Lobster. And music just called me.
Well, how did you get shot as the dishwasher? You in the back.
The interviewer asked Timbaland about the incident, and Timbaland explains that it resulted from a dispute involving his friend who had a gun. It was almost like a high school fight buildup with threats leading to the moment.
Accidentally got shot working at Red Lobster. What transpired? How did this event come about?
But you know how we young, and my homeboy had a gun. He said, "Yo, I'm gonna get your boy. Wait till the." So my homeboy grabbed a revolver, and he was putting it up in the bag. He said, "Wait till the night's game."
Timbaland describes the moment he was shot. He recalls turning around and feeling like his arm was on the ground.
And as he was putting up in the bag, I said, "Man," and I would turn around and clock out, and I turned around, pow, and I walked off. And I thought my arm was on the ground.
Right.
And I said, where my arm at? Where my arm at? I said, where my arm? Where my arm? And what happened, my whole nerve this side got paralyzed. It was paralyzed for like about a year, 2 years.
His entire nerve on one side got paralyzed. It took therapy and time to recover. His main concern was whether he could use his arm again because it was essential for his career as a DJ. FBG Duck.
Chicago rapper who was gunned down here on one of Chicago's ritziest streets. They say 2 other people were also shot when 4 gunmen, witnesses say, jumped out of cars and fired from just a few feet away.
On August 4th, 2020, at 4:26 p.m., FBG Duck found himself in a real-life action movie plot. Out shopping, he suddenly had 4 uninvited guests from 2 cars, and these guests weren't bearing gifts, they were bearing guns. He bravely tried to survive despite being shot more than 16 times in the neck, chest, and groin, causing fatal injuries. There were also 38 bullet casings scattered around where the attack occurred. Despite his efforts to hide behind a dark sedan, he was hit by many bullets. Videos of the ordeal made the rounds online, showing Duck, a fighter till the end, next to a lady who'd been shot in the wrist. Another person was injured during this terrifying event. Help eventually arrived in the form of law enforcement officers, but they didn't provide the necessary medical attention promptly, which might have helped Duck given that he was still alive and showing signs of movement even 20 minutes after the shooting. They didn't do CPR, and this made him lose a lot of blood quickly. The paramedics arrived too late, and Duck's condition got worse as they were moving him on a stretcher. About an hour later, he died during surgery at around 5:17 p.m., but the tale doesn't end there. No one was immediately nabbed for the shooting, but rumors swirled. Some fingers pointed to O-Block affiliates seeking revenge for insults hurled at their fallen comrades. Police later arrested 5 people in connection to this murder. The rumor mill even suggested that the late King Von had slapped a $100,000 $100,000 bounty on Duck. After FBG Duck passed away, rivals like Lil Durk, Queen Pen, 600 Breezy, and King Von mocked him. FBG Duck also had disputes with several other rappers, including those from GBE and OTF. Chief Keef, who was a part of GBE, released songs that targeted Tooka Gang, a group affiliated with FBG Duck. In response, FBG Duck and his crew created songs and aimed them at Chief Keef and others associated with his gang. FBG Duck didn't hold back from dissing Lil Durk or OTF either. His rivalry with fellow Chicago artist Edai added more fuel to the fire. Things got heated when Duck and Lil J dropped a track called Who the Heck is Dude, targeting Edai. The online beef boiled over when Edai tweeted about Duck's stabbing, and let's just say Duck didn't find it funny. He promised retaliation if they ever crossed paths in person. This intense rivalry also involved King Von. They exchanged diss songs and online arguments until FBG Duck died in November 2020. The rivalry didn't stop there. FBG Duck also had issues with Tekashi 6ix9ine, who he jokingly called 96. Even after his death, Tekashi 6ix9ine continued to mock him. Beanie Sigel. Beanie Sigel is another rapper with a life as wild as his lyrics. He could write a whole album just about his encounters with trouble. He was run up multiple times. His first encounter was on May 25th, 2006, when he was the victim of an attempted robbery that resulted in him getting shot and injured. According to the authorities, Sigel got hit by 1 or 2 bullets in his upper right arm just after 8 in the morning. He managed to escape from the scene and took himself to a nearby medical facility. The police said that this seemed like a robbery carried out by 5 people in 2 different vehicles, but they couldn't confirm the exact location. This incident happened after Sigel was released from a federal correctional facility for not paying child support. Almost 10 years later, on Friday, December 5th, 2014, he was shot in the abdomen at a New Jersey residence.
Rapper Beanie Sigel is in the hospital after he was shot today. That gunfire erupted in Pleasantville, Atlantic County.
Sigel, who was originally listed in critical condition, is here tonight at the hospital recovering from surgery after being shot in the torso. But as for who shot him, that's a question police are still trying to answer.
He was quickly taken to the hospital, and even though he survived, surgery complications made him kiss one of his lungs goodbye. The bullet went through his stomach and came out of his back, as explained by Pleasantville's top police officer, Jose Ruiz. According to his lawyer, Fortunato Perry, he had dropped off their kids at school before the accidental shooting occurred at around 9:30 a.m. that Friday. Another person, Umar Salahuddin, 22 years old, was injured in the chaos but didn't get shot. Law enforcement officials say that his uncooperative behavior made it hard for detectives to get information, making the case more complicated. But Beanie's life isn't just about dodging bullets. It's a saga of run-ins with the law, too. He's got more legal troubles than a lawyer on speed dial. Sigel's legal problems started in 2002, when he was arrested on a federal weapons charge in West Philadelphia. This led to him serving time in a federal prison. In the following year, he got into more trouble. Beanie adds assault and club shootout to his resume. It's like he's trying to collect a full set of criminal charges. He gets tagged with attempted murder for the club incident, but escapes that rap. In 2004, it's Deja Vu, another conviction for breaking federal weapon laws, another stint in the clink. Then in 2009, just when you think he's had enough, Beanie gets pulled over in New Jersey with marijuana in his ride. He was probably looking for his old cell by then. His legal troubles continued into the next decade. He was accused of neglecting to pay taxes on income he earned between 2003 and 2005, which amounted to over $1 million. He was sentenced to 25 months in jail for this. In August 2012, just before starting his prison sentence, Sigel faced various criminal charges, including drug and weapons possession and conspiracy. He was pulled over by the police, who found a loaded gun, a substantial amount of cash, and various unmarked pharmacy items in his car. He served a 2-year prison sentence for these offenses, starting in September 2012, with additional time for tax evasion. He was released from the Federal Correctional Institution at Schuylkill on August 14, 2014, but he had to complete the remainder of his sentence in a halfway house in Philadelphia. Youngeen Ace. In March 2019, Youngeen Ace rocked Waycross with a concert at the Vibe. Yeah, the guy was making waves in the hip-hop scene. He even shared it on his Facebook profile. But little did he know the night was about to take a wild turn. After the show, Youngeen Ace checked into the Hampton Inn in Waycross. You know, it's just a typical night for a rising rap star. But then, out of nowhere, chaos erupted.
One man is dead, another recovering, and 3 people are now facing charges after an ambush on a Jacksonville rapper early this morning.
The local police were called because people were seen chasing each other with guns around the hotel parking area at Hampton Inn on Brunswick Highway around 3:30 a.m. When they arrived, they found Jeremy Brookins, a 30-year-old from Jacksonville, who had been shot and unfortunately died near the pool area. There was another person from Jacksonville, age 29, in one of the hotel rooms who had multiple gunshot wounds. They were quickly taken for medical help nearby. Despite all this, Youngin Ace escaped the attack and the subsequent shootout. Now, if you're not a hip-hop enthusiast, you might wonder what's cooking in Jacksonville. Well, rap's not all beats and rhymes. It's got its rivalries. It's like those old school battles where two artists grab mics and throw words at each other, but sometimes things get heated and deadly. Now, if we look at Jacksonville today, new rivalries are emerging, like ATK and KTA, which are becoming more popular. The top dogs are Youngin Ace from ATK and Julio Fulio from KTA. In May 2017, the feud became worse when 19-year-old Zion Brown was killed in Jacksonville. A man entered a house on the city's west side and shot him, causing his death. In June 2018, Youngin Ace became a target. He got shot 8 times in what looks like revenge for Zion Brown's death. Ace miraculously lives, but 3 other teens, including his 2 friends and brother 23, didn't make it.
A shooter or shooters on the run after 4 teens are gunned down to the south side.
They were sitting in a car. Another car pulls up next to them, fires, opens fire, and speeds away.
After this terrible incident, Julio Fulio used social media to celebrate the killings. He had a t-shirt made with a picture of Royale Devon Smith Jr. and the words, "Rest in Peace, 23. Fulio proudly shared the t-shirt on his Instagram page, saying he would wear it for an upcoming show. But amidst all this chaos, Youngin Ace opens up in an interview with the Big Facts crew. He talks about the pain of losing friends and how it feels to be the one who made it. He mentions how his best friend's son never got to meet his father, who passed away. He feels responsible for that child's upbringing. He expresses feelings of survivor's guilt. He wonders why he survived the shooting when others didn't. He questions why he was left standing and reflects on the randomness of life's tragedy.
I'm the most chosen one. You know what I'm saying? I be having them type of questions like, why, how I sat there and made that? Like how I survived that? Like, and they put him on my side and shot at me first. How I got shot 8 times and I'm still here, and he got shot 5 times.
The rapper shares that he has difficulty with loud sounds and unexpected noises due to the trauma. He prefers being in control of his surroundings, which has made him selective about when and where he socializes.
Every time I'm in a car, I get to be acting crazy at lights and stuff like that. I can't really loud sounds that throw me off. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't like sounds I'm not aware of. I get to tweaking and jumping and doing all kinds of stuff. That's why I don't like being around a lot too many people. You know what I'm saying? Because I like to be in control. Control of the room. If I ain't in control, if I don't know what's behind me on the side, I'd be acting crazy.
Cameron. On October 23, 2005, Cameron, known for his flashy style and the nickname Killer Cam, experienced a real-life situation similar to the violent stories in his songs during Howard University's annual homecoming celebration. Early that morning, while he was driving his fancy royal blue 2006 Lamborghini, which had about $200,000 worth of diamonds and jewelry on it, he got shot in both arms when he stopped at a red light on New York Avenue NW. He was rushed to Howard University Hospital, and thankfully he survived. However, tensions were high among his group because some members were criticized for not being with him when the shooting happened at the red light. The shooting started during an event at H20 nightclub on Water Street, SW. Diddy was hosting a party there for Howard University's annual Homecoming Block Fest. After leaving H20, Cameron drove his Lamborghini with a friend while his security team followed, but they lost him at a traffic light near New York and New Jersey Avenue. Around 12:17 a.m., Cameron stopped at the intersection. That's when things got dangerous. 2 guys in a burgundy Ford Expedition SUV pulled up next to his Lamborghini. One of them got out with a gun trying to steal the car. Cameron cursed at him and sped away. In response, the attacker shot him in both arms. Authorities said it was a failed carjacking. The 2 men ran away, and the police found one of their cell phones. Despite the scary incident, the rapper seemed unbothered when he left the hospital. He was surrounded by cameras and vans with Duke de God and the Diplomats written on them, referring to his Diplomat Records label. He confirmed that the attackers didn't manage to steal his car or jewelry and showed off his shiny chain. Jules Santana, a rapper under Cameron's wing, chimed in on the incident. He highlighted the love-hate relationship that fame brought them and how their battles typically stayed in the realm of music. While Cameron may have had his public spats, notably with Jay-Z and a lawsuit over a songwriting credit, this real-life confrontation took things to a whole new level. As he left the hospital, Cameron expressed sadness that his homecoming didn't go as he had hoped. If you like this video, just tap the card on your screen now to watch more videos about the hip-hop scene.